Hello, Bills fans. This has been a great week in Buffalo sports because Terry Pegula has agreed to buy the Buffalo Bills. If you haven't heard the news yet, Terry Pegula, Buffalo Sabres owner, he's worth about $3.3 billion, and he has agreed to take out some pocket change and buy the Bills for $1.4 billion. That is the most a sports franchise has ever been bought for. $1.4 billion. He beat the next highest bidder by $400 million. The next highest bidder was willing to buy the Bills for $1 million flat. And this comes on the heels of a Buffalo Bills Week 1 victory against the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field, the Bills' first win ever in Chicago, and a big one at that, because the Bills are now 1-0, tied with two other teams for the AFC East, if that matters yet. But it certainly was a fantastic start to the Buffalo Bills season. I'm Brendan Harrington. Welcoming me is Dave Crescenti. Dave, what's up?
What's going on? Yeah, good Week 1 win for the Bills. And now they have another tough match against the Dolphins, who had a bigger win against the Patriots.
But I did watch that game on Game Rewind, and I did not see good things out of that Miami Dolphins team. They really did not look like they won that game. It's just that it kind of looked like the Patriots lost that game. Tom Brady played like you know what, and they just found a way to lose that game against a team that turned the ball over quite a bit.
Yeah, they got to Tom Brady, though, which teams haven't really been able to do that much.
Yeah, they got to Tom Brady. They caused a couple of turnovers, but that's kind of Tom Brady's fault more so than them forcing the turnovers.
And Brady was also playing partially injured.
Yeah,
and
with a new beard. So.
All right, but now let's talk about the Bills game against the Bears. Game started out with a 3-and-out for the offense, and then the Bears drove down, scored on a touchdown pass to Martellus Bennett.
And that was a nervous drive, 4 plays, 70-something yards.
Yeah.
And they scored on a play that Preston Brown, the new rookie, slipped on, which was not good signs, but it was not a good sign for the future of the linebacking core, certainly. But Preston Brown actually ended up having a pretty good game. I was just nervous after that first drive that something bad was going to happen there.
Yeah.
But then the Bills answered right back with E.J. Manuel taking the Bills for a huge drive.
And then keeping it for a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, keeping it. And then the Bills were about, I think, 4 for 4 on third down on that drive, but then they didn't have many third down conversions after that.
Yeah, they went 4 for 12 on third down conversions on the day, but it was enough to get the job done.
The Bills had a 17-7 halftime lead against the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears took the momentum right out of halftime, getting the ball first because the Bills started with it. And it was tied 17-17. The Bills go for a very nice drive that I liked. It was 20-17, and then the Bears would tie it up to bring it into overtime.
Yeah.
So then, in overtime, the Bears won the toss. The Bills made the stop on a Leos McCollum drop for an interception. But then the Bears would end up giving up a big play to Mike Williams at the beginning of the overtime, and then obviously a huge play, 38-yard to the 1-yard line by Fred Jackson. Chris Conte had an interception earlier in the game, just got big boyed.
Yeah, after Mike Williams' catch, though, we were just looking for a couple more, like a first down or more, to get into Carpenter's range. But that Fred Jackson run really locked in the win for him.
Great play by the offensive line, just to open up a huge hole, and then he gave him one-on-one against the safety. And there's no way Fred Jackson's losing one-on-one to the safety. He threw him. He grabbed him and literally threw him. He was about like an inch away from putting the ball over the pylon for the touchdown too.
All right. So despite what we saw in the preseason, Robert Woods started as the number 2 receiver. What do you think of Woods? Because he had a very good game with 78 receiving yards and a couple nice catches.
Yeah, Robert Woods had a great game. I just think that shows, because in the preseason, even when E.J. Manuel was with Robert Woods, he seemed to throw it to him quite a bit, and I just think that will be huge for the Bills. And I think that Robert Woods and E.J. Manuel will be a good tandem in their NFL careers starting this year, as they started off with a 4 target.
Yeah. Yeah. So sticking with the receivers here, Sammy Watkins had 3 catches for 31 yards. He was probable to play in this game, so he kind of was banged up. But what do you take away from Sammy Watkins' performance?
I just think he did what he needed to. He also had another catch that was called back on a hold by Chantrell Henderson, but that would have gone for about 20 yards. But it just seemed that EJ Manuel didn't get that much of a chance to throw the ball at all because the run game was just so effective. So you can't really take much out of that game because there has to be a game coming up soon, maybe even Sunday, that the run game doesn't work as well as they want it to, and then EJ Manuel is gonna have to throw the ball down the field. So that's gonna be Sammy Watkins' time to shine.
Yeah, the Bills are 3rd in the league now for total rushing offense with 193 yards. 61 came from Fred Jackson, another 60 came from Anthony Dixon.
And then 53 on 15 rushes for CJ Spiller, who did not have a good game, in my opinion, and he continues to show me that the Bills do not need him in the future.
Yeah, and EJ Manuel also added some rushing yards. He had a couple rushes, including that 1 touchdown run.
But
yeah, what do you think of the?
But going back to Sammy Watkins real quickly.
All right.
I also think that the Bills have 2 weapons that have already shown that they could play in the NFL. So I think EJ Manuel has a better understanding of what they're good at as opposed to what Sammy Watkins is good at, which is pretty much everything. But Sammy Watkins was open a couple of plays that EJ Manuel was looking the other side of the field too that I saw. So
yeah, and he didn't really utilize all his weapons. Scott Chandler had
Scott Chandler only had 1 target.
He was targeted in the first drive, which would Manuel threw it a little bit behind him.
Yeah.
But other than that, he didn't really use him. Hogan, who had played a lot in the preseason, I didn't even see on the field.
Yeah, I don't think he was on the field.
Goodwin didn't play.
Yeah, Goodwin played.
Didn't have any catches.
Yeah. He was targeted on the interception.
Oh. And that was a broken play.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a mistake by Manuel.
Yeah, it was his only bad decision. I wrote that.
Yeah, he was trying to make
something out of nothing.
Yeah, make something out of nothing when he should have just threw it away.
And Marquise Goodwin was open before that, and he just held the ball for a little bit longer, and that didn't really make sense to me why he threw that. But let's not dwell on the negatives, and let's go to the positives. Sammy Watkins should be good for the year, obviously. After he should be good with his ribs in a couple of weeks, maybe not this week, but 2 weeks from now or something. And then Robert Woods and Mike Williams seem to be 100% healthy. And the Bills seem to utilize Fred Jackson in the passing game more than CJ Spiller.
Yeah, Jackson does play a lot in the receiving game, probably because he's a better pass blocker too.
Yeah, and he did not have a good game. They gave him 5 screens, and he got maybe 15, 20 yards out of it.
Anthony Dixon, like you said, played a lot. He had that 1 big run, so it's kind of hard to break down through his stats. But I was surprised at the limited amount of carries that Fred Jackson got. Dixon got a lot, and we didn't really see many goal line carries either.
Yeah, Dixon got 5. Well, they didn't get to the goal line, really.
Yeah, well.
For 1 player, so.
Yeah.
But, Dixon was used more than I thought they would have because I thought they were going to use him more as a goal line back / 1 yard from pick up the first downs. But he was actually used he got a big play, and then he got, 5 carries for 61 yards. But
even on the...
he had 1 really big
play. That wasn't really him.
Yeah,
it was a nice play by the offensive line.
Wait, which play?
His huge run?
No.
Oh.
The 1 play when he bounced off 4 guys.
Yeah, that was a nice run.
Yeah.
Obviously by him.
I think 7 yards or something like that.
But yeah.
He's hard to get down. You could tell because he never went straight down in the whole entire game. He always breaks a tackle before going down, it seems like, and he's a really big boy.
Yeah. And he had that very long run from inside the 10.
Yeah.
Which that drive didn't amount to anything though.
Yeah.
But the 1 play on the goal line, we saw Manuel's rushing touchdown. It was Fred Jackson out there. Do you take anything from that, or just because Jackson was on the play before?
Wait, what was that?
You know how Manuel ran it and they were inside the 5?
Oh yeah, the read
Fred
option.
Jackson was out there, yeah.
Yeah, Fred Jackson was out there, and I like the Bills' new offense. It's more of a read option all the time. Yeah. Except when they're obvious passing downs.
Yeah, and Bryce Brown though didn't suit up for this game. He was inactive. Do you expect that to continue through the year?
We'll have to see. Because I don't know. That's a good question. But Bryce Brown, I was saying as soon as they got him, where is he going to fit into this offense?
Yeah, he's not.
They already have 3 guys in front of him. Well, I don't know about Dixon being in front of him, but Dixon showed that he should be in front of him. He has something that Bryce Brown doesn't, which is he's a huge guy that can get the goal line carries.
Mm.
Bryce Brown's just pretty much another Fred Jackson, I would say.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe a little bit faster, but I don't think he's nowhere as good as Fred Jackson. But
the trade for Bryce Brown was probably thinking more in the future of Spiller, and when they got him, Fred Jackson also didn't sign his extension at that point.
Yeah.
So I think that move was just more for the future.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with him. I don't know. I don't know what his contract is either. It might be just one more year after this one. I don't know.
Who, Bryce Brown?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
They can use him as trade bait too. There's a couple of running backs going down. Eddie Lacy. I don't know.
But
That's probably looking too much into something else. But let's go to the defense. The defense, in my opinion, had a pretty bad game. They were what I was tweeting during the game. They bend didn't break. I've heard that a lot. That's kind of cliche, but bend don't break. And the Bills would let them get to past midfield, and they got 3 turnovers, I think.
Yeah, they had a couple of interceptions.
Yeah, they had a fumble recovery by Preston Brown and a nice play by Lewis McKelvin, and then they had an interception by Corey Graham and an interception by the big boy Kyle Williams.
Oh yeah, that was a weird play, but
yeah, Jay Cutler made a big mistake there.
They also couldn't really stop Forte. He ran it all over us all day.
And he didn't really run all over us more so
he
in the passing game.
We didn't really have an answer for Matt Forte.
Not because of him though. Because
it was a couple.
He would run out in the flat and nobody would pick him up. I don't know why. Because the Bills were playing his zone defense more so, and they didn't have anybody to cover. They didn't have anybody to specifically cover him, and Brandon Spikes isn't that great against the passing game, and he would probably be the guy that would be covering him, or Preston Brown, who.
Well, we get Nigel Bradham back next week, so we'll talk about that once we get to the end of this game. But
so Preston Brown kind of impressed me for a 3rd-round pick who was put into a bad situation. Keith Rivers only played a half and then got injured, but he'll be good. He's day-to-day with I think groin injury or something like that.
Well, the 2 people that we who basically killed us on offense were Martellus Bennett and Matt Forte. Jeffrey got injured early, which took him out of the game, and Marshall had a couple minor injuries, which limited him throughout the game. So those 2 guys were
a couple of big hits on Brandon Marshall in the game.
Yeah, and he did fumble too.
Yeah,
which was one of the turnovers.
Yeah, he fumbled. Lewis McKelvin fumbled that or forced that after. Well, Lewis McKelvin had 13 tackles, which is not a good thing for a cornerback. But I think because they're playing zone, it's not really his fault. People are putting it right on him that Corey Graham should start over, but that's a ridiculous thing to say.
And Gilmore should be back next week as well.
Yeah, Gilmore might be back. I don't know. We'll have to see about that. But if Aaron Williams is out with a concussion, which he might have to be, I'm not sure, then that might force Corey Graham to play safety. Yeah. He did take some reps at safety in practice. But Corey Graham had quite a game.
Yeah, especially on that last drive.
Yeah, on the last drive. Yeah, and right before halftime. Right before the end of the game, not overtime. Somebody made a catch and he was like, he jumped and he just
pushed him out of bounds. Yeah.
I don't know if that used to be a rule where you can't do that.
Where if he jumped and was gonna come down before they pushed him out, they would have called the catch.
Yeah.
And he also had an interception too to top off the day.
Yeah.
He also was injured. He got shaken up too in the first half. Yeah, he did.
I don't remember that.
Oh, well, he came back shortly after.
Yeah. But I predicted that he was gonna have a good game after I heard that Stephon Gilmore was knocked out.
Yeah.
But there's no way he's better than Stephon Gilmore. And maybe he had a better game than Stephon Gilmore might have because he didn't have really anything against him. He didn't have any bad plays really.
Gilmore?
No.
Oh, Corey Graham?
Yeah.
Oh, last game, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he would have had a better game than Gilmore would have had in that specific game. But you gotta give the Gilmore. Gilmore's a shutdown corner.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't really make a lot of plays because he's shutting down whoever he's covering. Is more of his thing.
Except in the preseason, he got dominated. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. He was injured, but I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about Stephon Gilmore, to be honest.
And he struggled with injuries throughout
Yeah.
his career. But so yeah, that sums up the game. And you have anything else to say about this Bears game?
I just loved the performance by EJ Manuel. I think Nathaniel Hackett had a good game play calling too. He probably deserves the game ball. With the play calling, even though the offense wasn't fantastic, it put up points.
Yeah.
Enough points to win at least, but
yeah, and
the defense only gave up 20 points, but they played worse than 20 points, I would say. They gave up 400 something yards of offense, I think.
Yeah,
400 something yards. That's a lot, and they only gave up 20 points. It's kind of like the Bills. It's kind of foreshadowing kind of the Bills Chiefs game last year. The Bills put up 472, I think, yards of offense, and they only scored 10 points.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter about yards. You got to put up points.
Yeah, you got to score.
All right, so also in the AFC East, as I mentioned earlier, the Dolphins beat the Patriots and the Jets beat the Raiders. So that means 3 teams in the AFC East are 1-0, and the only team not is the Patriots, which is surprising.
The first time that Tom Brady's ever been in the cellar alone.
Well, that means a pretty big game against the Dolphins here. So
whoever wins is most likely the leader of the division for now, because
the
Jets play against the Packers.
Wow, and even if they win, it would still go to whoever wins this game.
What do you mean?
Well, technically with the tiebreaker, division record.
No, but I'm saying because I know the Jets aren't gonna win that game, but whoever wins this is probably gonna have solo 2-0, and then a bunch of 1-1 teams. Depending on who the Patriots play, I don't know who they play.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
What if the Patriots go down 0-2 and the Bills are 2-0?
All right, so but first you got to beat the Dolphins. So we know Lamar Miller and Knowshon Moreno had a pretty good games for them for the Dolphins last week. Tannehill did all right. Didn't really perform amazing. Their D-line did pretty good.
Their running game was good enough. They didn't need it. Their defense was pretty solid. Against Tom Brady, they played fantastic.
Yeah. Knowshon Moreno is actually the leading rusher in the NFL right now with 134 yards. What do you think about the defense? You think they need to step it up from last game?
The Bills?
Yeah.
Yeah, they if they bend don't break and get turnovers around midfield, I'll take that any day of the week, but I would love for them to get a couple of 3-and-outs this game just to show that. I mean, last year against the I forgot about that. But last game against the Dolphins, the Bills won 19-0 at the Ralph. I was at that game obviously because I go to every game. But
with Thad Lewis at quarterback.
Yeah, Thad Lewis played quarterback, and then Matt Moore ended up coming in for the Dolphins, and they were in a playoff race. And the Bills defense did not give up anything. They probably had 8 to 10 3-and-outs in that game, the Dolphins, and the Bills just outplayed them in that game, and I hope to see that again in this game.
Yeah.
Nicole Roby had a great game that game coming out of nowhere, but that's what I said.
Yeah. So, like I said a few minutes ago, Bradham's back. Think he will be starting?
Yeah, he's definitely starting. But he had a good preseason. We'll have to see what happens because they're showing more of a vanilla defense. But I think every starter that the Bills picked, from mid season after Kiko Alonso got hurt, I think they're good. I don't think they're gonna have a single injury on the field. I think they're gonna have everyone starting that they would usually start: Keith Rivers, Nigel Bradham, and Brandon Spikes. And then there was also an injury, Aaron Williams, who has concussion symptoms, but he's just day to day, so he'll be okay too after a couple more tests. But they should have everyone healthy on defense and everyone healthy on offense. So
yeah,
that's exciting to see.
Yeah, so.
And the Patriots take on the Vikings this week.
So the Patriots will be one. Although although the Vikings.
Dave, stop making noises.
The Vikings killed the Rams last week. Although I don't know how much you can take against the Rams, but so yeah, the Bills play the Dolphins next week at 1:00 on Sunday. Like the rest of their games, we'll be back again about same time next week to discuss that Dolphins game and the Week 3 matchup.
And for all your coverage for the Dolphins game, just keep on checking our website. We'll have stuff up. like the preview on Friday or Saturday, and then obviously the recap on Monday or Tuesday, depending. But for Dave Crescenti, this has been the Buffalo Bills podcast, Buffalo Bills Now podcast. This is Brandon Harrington signing off.